gushing over Chris Paddock and saying that he was the greatest thing since sliced
still,
bread.
I still think he's a stud. I said that at the very end. I still think he is. I think this is not about his quality. This is really about prolonging his time in the majors.
Yeah, and I'm more rubbing in like he came back down to earth, and that's kind of what I was expecting. Like I agree, long term he's probably going to be amazing, but some of the trades we were talking about back a month ago, are looking like probably should have gone with him.
In my brother's league, which I sort of co-managed, I helped him do the draft. He traded Chris Paddock for an injured Corey Kluber and David Price. Like at the time, like was that enough? And now it's like, holy mackerel! That's feels like he picked the pocket. Like, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So I just had to throw that jab in there. Sorry, Doug. But
we're going to say a lot of things here, and we're going to be wrong on many of them, if not most. But we're going to say a lot of important stuff too. It's your job as the listener to filter your way through the garbage. Yeah,
that's right.
We're here just to make you think. We're not starting your lineups for you.
Yep. All right, a few transactions this week. Nick Kingham got sent from the Pirates to the Blue Jays for cash. Alex Dickerson got sent from the Padres to the Giants for cash. And Frank Schwindel was signed by the Tigers.
Yeah, those are all three guys that when they were in the minors, I thought there was something. Alex Dickerson got kind of screwed in a logjam in San Diego. I think that he could come to the Giants, and he could be, because their outfield is so bad, he could be one of their better guys. Like, see him get a chance. I actually believe that Kingham could have been a decent pitcher for the Pirates. Get a chance in there. And Schwindel is a power hitter. He's a real power hitter, and he's got cut by the Royals this year because it wasn't their thing. So these aren't like gonna save your league, but they're names to know.
And we had some guys from the draft start signing this week.
There actually was a lot of signees from that. These are I just wrote down the ones from the top 10 picks.
Okay, the number two pick Bobby Witt signed with the Royals. Number 5 pick Riley Green signed with the Tigers. Number 6 pick C.J. Abrams signed with the Padres. Number 7 pick Nick Lodolo with the Reds. And number 9, Shea Langoliers with the Braves.
Yep. Abrams and Langoliers signed for under the slot value. The other guys all signed at slot. So the Braves were able to save some money, and the Padres for future things. The number 1 pick Rushman, number 3 and 4 Vaughn and Blade are still unsigned. The Bobby Witt signing slot was like $7.3 million, just so you get an idea.
I do recommend Langoliers, though, because as far as good, bad miniseries goes, it's pretty much near the top of the list. It's competently shot and has a totally bonkers performance by Bronson Pinchot.
It is certainly the best. He's the best catcher to be named after a Stephen King novel that I've ever seen.
All right, if there's a few interesting notes here,
pick. You don't have to go through all of them, but pick one or two you want to go. I don't think we can not talk about the first one.
Yeah, I'm sure nobody's missed this, but David Ortiz was shot last week.
Have you read all the stuff on this stuff? I mean, like it's like some bizarre love triangle thing, and I understand the impetus to want to commit adultery.
I don't think I could take any of it. I don't know if I could take any of it at face value, man. It just there's different angles that it's coming from, and all of it just sounds equally bizarre.
I was saying, I can understand the impetus to commit adultery. Like, if you're in a relationship, you can be a girl with a guy, and you see the guy, and they say that their relationship's not going well, they're going to get divorced, and you kind of believe it, and, hormones take over, whatever. But the minute that I find out the woman I'm sleeping with, husband is a drug kingpin, a mob lord, I'm out, right? I'm leaving right there. I mean, come on, David. Come on.
Yeah, I guess I need to do some reading on this. I didn't know the whole story here, so that's.
Well, I mean, we don't know what to actually believe, but the gossip is intense.
Also, the one of the accused gunmen said that the target was not David Ortiz, and I was just like, okay, so I'm just trying to imagine the mindset of that. Like, okay, I'm going to be up $10,000 if I just take out this guy. Blam blam. Oh no. I just shot David Ortiz.
It It was a person from the future sent to stop somebody from inventing the thing that lets whatever computers take over, and David Ortiz jumped in front of that bullet. Maybe that's what happened. Saving our future.
Yeah, it's as far as the guy saying, "Oh, I meant to get someone else," so I don't know why. Something just that's the one area so far where my detector is really going off the charts. Yeah. Somehow I just don't buy that.
I wrote a couple of these things there which aren't worth to talk about. The one thing I did want to say was, the Atlanta Braves play at SunTrust Park, and BBT and SunTrust merged, and so they're going to play at Truist Park. Oh God, that's a terrible name. But anyway, thank you so much, Steve.
I feel like the Braves are due for a new stadium. They have it. They seem to get one about every 5 years. So
every 5 years.
I went to the last one, 6 or 7 years ago, and it was a beautiful stadium. And then,
I personally didn't like it because it was a little bit fakey, but it was perfectly viable. It's like there's no reason why they had to build a new ballpark. I like the old stadium. I actually did like the old stadium. The nice thing about the old stadium is that like if you sat in the cheap seats, you had a better time than if you sat in the expensive seats because it wasn't built to make the stands happy. So the expensive seat were like full sun in Atlanta, which is just it's not something you want to sit in for 4 hours. But if you sat in the cheap seats, you had the overhang with the shade, and it wasn't so bad with a beer. So I actually like the old cookie cutter stadium. But yeah, I don't get that why they're building a thing every few years. Every few years. Well, anyway, we that's the rundown.
So, by the way, with the Royals beating the Tigers in Omaha, does this happen with all Kansas City franchises when they start getting into dire straits? Like the Kings in the NBA when they had Kansas City, they went to Omaha for a bit and became the Kansas City Omaha Kings.
It was sort of like a treat to the before the true College World Series starts, or at the end of College World Series. Omaha would always play the College World Series, so they decided to go there. The Major League Baseball, they play game. They're going to play a game in England. They play a game in Mexico, but they play one game in Williamsport to kind of coincide with the Little League World Series. It's kind of a outreach thing. I just thought it was interesting. I have some bigger ideas on this stuff, but nothing that I can discuss in 40 seconds. But
you mean the College World Series, that thing that UCF's always on the road to?
Yeah, we're always on the road to the colleges.
Yeah, gotcha. Also, I think you should be grateful that you guys are going to be in Truist Park, because I've been to some true ballparks, Camden Yards, Busch Stadium, the previous iteration of it. But no, if you want the ultimate baseball experience, catch a Braves game, because that's the truest ballpark. It's baseball in its purest form.
I was trying to stop us. We have a topic today, and we got about 15, 20 minutes to talk about it. And it was something we were saying that, like, we were thinking about the opener. Brendan, you know what the opener is?
It's the thing that opens the show at the beginning.
Yeah, it's the comic who's not quite as good as you that you pay to warm them up. No, in baseball it's something different, right, Steve?
That's right. It's Ryan Stanek.
Hunter Wood.
It's a guy who throws high 90s, trying to get through the first part of the order and let the long man come in and take care of business afterwards.
When I was doing some research on this, just a little tidbit of trivia, they credit the first opener as some guy in 1924. Like during a World Series game, one of the fabled managers decided that they would pitch the first two batters with a right-handed pitcher so that they would get a lefty-loaded lineup, and then bring in the guy they wanted, who was a lefty, to pitch from the third batter on for the rest of the game. So that's where it started. Now, to me, Sergio Romo was the first guy, and Tampa Bay was the first guy to embrace it entirely. But the idea is, some guy pitches one inning, maybe two if he's getting through it cleanly, and then another guy pitches so the two guys together pitch through 5 innings. That's how you differentiate it from just the bullpen game, and that's why it's something different. Brendan, have you seen what Tampa Bay has done? Would you think that when they do this, they're being successful with it?
I've already taken it at face value that if anything weird works in baseball, the only place that it'll work is Tampa. this gained traction during the Joe Madden years, and apparently it is now continuing its magic long after the man left for Chicago. Despite the fact that I can get a Wendy's number 6 combo with their budget, they still...
Can you supersize it?
No.
Okay.
No, are you kidding me?
Small soda, small fries.
But they still do it, and as a division rival, it's very irritating. You want someone who's you want 3 doormats in a division, that'd be great. But no, you have to have one of them show up and show the entire team that you root for up by, what is it, 9 games now or so?
Yeah, no, it seems to work. I've heard people say that it's been proven to work, and I wanted to actually dispel that. Like, what we got was one really good year. A lot of other things could have happened. The team could have just... I mean, like last year, they started out slow because they started out versus playing 10 games versus the Red Sox and the Yankees. They could have added better players as the season went. Maybe the schedule got tougher. They did add Tommy Pham and Glasnow. In 1 year, we can't say definitively that it's proven to work, but it does seem to work. And so then it seems to work enough that it's spawned copycats. And the funny thing about the copycats is that it seems like when the copycats do it, 3 out of 4, 5 out of 6 at a time, they fail miserably. Just in the past week, we've had Cam Bedrosian try it with the Angels, Joaquin Soria with the Oakland A's, and Jose Jimenez with the Tigers. And it works for Tampa, at least it appears to. It doesn't work elsewhere. Why do you think that is? That's the gist of what we want to talk about.
So you're saying that basically this is like the late 2010s baseball version of the Wildcat offense in the NFL, where it works great. It could work great for like maybe one team, but everyone else gets on the bandwagon and it universally sucks otherwise.
I think theoretically it should work pretty well for anybody. The idea would be that you send out a pitcher who throws high 90s cheese, and he faces the first 3 batters, and those are 3 of their better batters, and he plays it like he's a closer, and it's like, I get out of this inning with no runs, or I've lost the day. And then your next pitcher comes in and he gets to face the 5th batter or the 4th batter in the back of the lineup to start up. They get further in. It seems from that standpoint to make a lot of sense. But I think that it's one of those things that gets inside pitchers' heads.
Yeah, I mean, was reading about it. They interviewed some hitters about it, and they hate it. They hate not knowing and hate not being able to prepare for the pitcher they're going to see. They hate not being able to kind of see what that guy's doing the first time through the lineup and be able to say, okay, his changeup's not on today, so don't worry about the changeup. Let's just sit dead red.
There's a reason why so many pitchers are worse third time through the lineup. This literally prevents the third time through from lineup from ever happening. It's like you don't get third time through versus anybody, so you never get the timing down. It makes a lot of sense from that standpoint. If the batters hate it, it's got to be good for the pitchers. Yeah,
when it fails hard. The Oakland A's tried it in the wild card game last year against the Yankees, and Liam Hendricks walks Andrew McCutchen and then gives up a 2-run jack immediately to Aaron Judge, and so you just killed yourself. The game's basically over at that point, right?
Yeah, no, that is the other side of the coin. Is that it's high risk, high reward. Sorry, it's probably not. It's not really high reward. It's solid reward and high risk. Because if your guy fails, and you got to pull him, that means you're already out 2 pitchers. Like at the beginning of because the second guy theoretically isn't prepared to act as a fireman to get out of the inning. He's the guy that we're going to give you a clean start at second or a clean start at third.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. Tampa Bay had a better record last year with the opener than they did in all their other games. So I think just more and more teams are going to keep playing with it and try to figure it out. And I think as fantasy players, we kind of need to account for that. I've got some leagues where they have start limits, and you get a guy like Ryan Yarbrough last year who didn't really start many games, but he sure ate up innings, got strikeouts, got wins. That could really be a difference maker in a roto league with a game started limit.
Yeah, and I mean the other thing is it crushes quality